Not going to lie to you, one of the hardest parts about being a dad is watching my daughter eat all the cereals I can no longer eat because, let's be honest, they're full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat. We're all trying to eat a little bit better. It's 2022 resolution season, but a healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. No bad stuff. And it's amazing. As a midnight snack, right before bed, it's great if you're trying to cut down on carbs, on sugar, on unhealthy food. It's good for all of that. And if you're keto, if you are gluten-free, if you are grain-free, if you are low carb, it's all of those things. You can build your own box. Flavors include, are you ready for this? Cocoa, fruity frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. It's awesome. You go to magicspoon.com/STP to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use that promo code STP at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident that you're going to like their product, it's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. Unlike life, cereal can be matched with a happiness guarantee 100%. So if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money. No questions asked. And hey, because it's cereal, you don't even have to send the box back. How great is that? Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal, magicspoon.com/STP, and use the code STP to save $5. Love you.
STP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Steve, what's the matter? You seem like you're shaking in anger over there.
I'm just gotta hate Wes McCauley.
Why do you hate him
I'm just thinking about how much I hate him.
Why do you send his children hate mail?
Because I just don't like him.
Are you suggesting that there might have been a misunderstanding about your opinions on Wes McCauley?
I hate him. I don't know. Sometimes I say things into the mic and I'm like, is this on? And, it's okay. It's okay. I like him. Wes, you're cool. You listening, Wes?
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with Wes McCauley. It's that hockey's so boring that Wes McCauley's considered entertaining.
Yeah.
No, you know what's considered entertaining in the NFL? What's going on with Antonio Brown and Bruce Arians right now. That's considered entertainment in the NFL.
I don't know who that second guy is.
That would be the head coach of the Buccaneers.
Oh.
Who showed up to the press conference with his sunglasses on and hunting gear. It was Buccaneers hunting gear.
Like hunting Don Cherry.
Yeah.
Like the love child of John Cena and Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway.
He does every press conference from the front seat of his truck.
Jesse's got the kind of grin on his face right now that says, I'm thinking something. I might not say it, but I'm thinking.
What'd I do wrong? What'd I do wrong? Let me hear it.
Nobody really took what you said last week as what you intended, and I think everybody just heard, "Hey, I hate Wes McCauley."
Which maybe that's an error in communication. I didn't communicate properly.
Can we make the title of this episode Steve Dangle hates Wes McCauley and hopes he retires?
Wow.
Just put that out there. See how people do it.
Wes McCauley, regarded as one of the best refs in hockey. I had no idea, but as all this storm of McCauley news came out, I learned that, and I was like, oh yeah, great for him.
Yeah.
Too bad Steve hates him.
No! By the way, Chris Johnston has some great insight on the CJ show about Wes McCauley and refs in general. I'm gonna put my flag in the earth.
Gun
in the earth. Gun to the earth.
Somebody actually messaged me the other day. They're like, how come you don't know what gun to the earth means? I'm like, I know what it means. It's just stupid.
Also,
anyway.
I'm pretty sure we get the line wrong, but I'm too entertained by it to correct it. So It's gun to the earth.
Gun to the earth.
Gun to the earth. Oil spill, which is the most recent episode of the Chris Johnston show.
Yeah.
The best one. The best one they've done.
Mm-mm.
Jesse is the executive producer.
Bad Takes Exposed, the best show they've ever done. Right from here, live from Adam's basement.
Yeah,
CJ telling the story of going to the Saddle Dome, high as a kite.
Blazed.
Told you, man.
How do you beat that?
And the only reason we got that story is because we got out the night before, me and Julian and Chris, and actually just drank some beers and hung out. Yeah. Which is such a rare thing, and it's even rarer because Julian lives like 150 kilometers away or whatever it is. Or maybe more, 300 kilometers. Is it 100? I don't even know. I can't even. I don't know. He lives far. He lives in Montreal.
Yeah,
5-hour drive.
Yeah.
My thinking is with CJ and Julian is I listen to them. I'm like, they're both so smart, and their takes on the Edmonton situation, which we're going to talk about later in the show. Really, really interesting. And the more this week has carried on, the more the Oilers have become a story for bad.
Story for bad.
So we'll talk about the Leafs game against them and everything else that goes into it. But I think we do need to start with the Leafs here. Nick Ritchie on waivers after 30 games.
Oh, man. I totally forgot.
8 points he's had in 30 games. And it seemed like everybody was rooting for him. I mean, the guy signed a 2-year contract worth $5 million. Yeah. All the players on the team, like when he scored, they were all super pumped about it. Everybody wanted him to succeed here. Why didn't he?
Oh boy, that's tough to quantify. He just doesn't feel like a fit at all. And it's unfortunate. Like, net front, when he is in front of the net, that's where he got his only goal.
Mm-hmm.
When he's in front of the net, I think he looks perfectly fine. He looks at home.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he knows what he's doing. He can move bodies. He can annoy people. He can score a goal. He can set a screen. I was giving him praise in my videos for getting what I call Daryl Boyce assists.
Yep.
Where he doesn't actually get an assist, but the goal doesn't happen without him. Man, when it's not in front of the net, what's your job? What's your gig, man? What do you do? He doesn't have the speed to keep up with this team at all.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's like standing in place in front of the net and then saying, "Oh, he looks perfectly at home." It's like, ooh.
And he doesn't have the defensive awareness to make up for his lack of speed. But we sort of saw that in I think it was the game against the Oilers. There was a goal that was kind of on him. I didn't really hold it against him because I wasn't willing to hold anything from that game against anybody because they've played twice since December 21st. Come on. But the Leafs forward group is as healthy as it's been.
Mm-hmm. And he's not part of the 13 forwards that they have.
No, yeah. Kasha's obviously, I mean, the one good bit of news is, hey, Kasha's probably coming back if Richie's on waivers. They need the cap relief. They'll get it from this. And the good news, if you're still cheering for Nick Ritchie, is you can, because no one's going to claim him. I mean, we'll know by the time the show is up, and I could be completely wrong, but no one's claiming him. My guess is he gets sent to the Marlies. He hopefully gets his confidence back, playing probably top line, and probably scoring a ton. Like, I think he's at least good enough to score a ton in the American Hockey League, and then he's a useful player for the playoffs, hopefully.
I hope the Leafs find a way to trade Nick Ritchie.
To get him a situation?
He's an NHL player, and he doesn't fit on the team at all, and that's been evident since game one. And there's a place for him in the NHL, not on the Marlies. And to do right by him would be to find him a team where it works.
How do you take that contract, though?
So here's the structure of the deal, and I saw it yesterday, and I was like, oh, he ain't getting claimed. So it's not just that he has a $2.5 million cap hit. He makes so there's no signing bonus. He makes $1.7 million this season, 3.3 next. So if a contract goes down, hey, you might actually get claimed. And the Leafs will have paid X amount of his 3.3 this year, but because it's reversed, and I don't know who his agent is, I assume that deal was designed to keep him in Toronto, and technically it is. The Marlies play here, but he's not getting claimed. No team is claiming him.
I wonder if the agent did that because of COVID. If games were canceled and maybe they don't make as much money or something like that, or
maybe
until Omicron hit, or whatever, however it's pronounced. I've heard Omarion. Right? Okay. Since before Omarion hit, the NHL was on track to make about $5.3 billion this year, which would have outstripped the pace they were on the last time the seasons were normal in 2019. So they were on track to make more money this year. Obviously, new TV deals help with that. Than they did before COVID. And so maybe the agent was like, well, maybe the escrow number goes down or something like that, and he gets to keep more of the money. That's the only thing I could think of with that contract structure. But all the same, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And I looked into, well, what if they buy him out in the summer?
Okay.
And he would be a $300,000 cap penalty next season, I believe, and then 1.1 the next.
Yeah, it's too much.
And Phil Kessel's coming off the book. So they're going to get cap relief. Okay,
$2,000 a day it'll work out to be about $1 million. If he stays down, it'll be about $1 million by the deadline. So that's good, I guess. But like, it's not great. It's not great for next year either.
It's not great for him.
No, that too. Like,
You know?
so is it worth it for the Leafs to do that? Or is it worth it for them to just have him in the organization? They do get cap relief by sending him to the minors. It's not as much as a buyout would provide, but you get the cap relief by burying him. Money is no object, so have him play for the Marlies. It's fine. And you have him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone were to get hurt, Engvall goes down, I don't know, anybody in the Leafs lineup gets hurt, you could do worse than Nick Ritchie
Yeah, you
as
get
a
a free Nick
totally
Ritchie.
13th forward.
And this is I don't know if it's a risk, but this is the idea that Kyle Dubas had going into the season, was that I'm going to pick up all of these strangling forwards, and then one of them's going to fail, a couple of them are going to work out, and then there's going to be the extra guys who don't fit in the lineup. It's why they had Kasha and Bunting and Ritchie, and even if you count the Engvall and McKayev pieces, they're forwards on the wings that you plug in around the big core, and a couple of them are going to fail, and a couple of them are going to work out, and then you're going to be stuck with tough decisions on guys like Nick Ritchie going down to the AHL.
Of the guys you just named, Nick Ritchie's by far the most paid. Right? I think,
which is,
you know what I mean? He's like double the other guys.
You're taking a bet on all these guys, and the one you paid the most is the one that's not working out.
Which means somebody else was after him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why
Lots
Nick
of other teams.
Yeah.
So-
Nick Ritchie's a good player. It's just not in Toronto.
He'll be fine.
Yeah,
He'll
certainly.
be fine. If he does go somewhere else, I think he'll have success. Like, you can point to, listen, his fancies are awful, but he scores, for God's sake. He scores, and he knows how to generate offense, which he didn't even do here, or hasn't even done here. I think he will. Like, guys don't forget how to play hockey.
And here's what I love, too. If people were, Leaf fans typically have to find a reason to be upset. So Leaf fans are like, oh, my God, and he signed all the way through next year. That's a bad contract. Well, first off, the Leafs don't have many, I would say, quote-unquote, bad contracts. Number two, for every 2-year Nick Ritchie contract, you have a David Kampf for $1.5 million, not just this year, but next. And Michael Bunting, not just this year, but next at $950,000.
Andre Kasha, at the end of this year, his contract expires. He's an RFA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because he was non-tendered, wasn't he?
Yep.
Wow.
So was Ritchie.
Holy
Ritchie.
smokes.
They were both non-tendered by the Bruins.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Huh. I mean, listen, so
it's good.
you take some swings and you miss, and I guess to wrap up the conversation, is it likely that he gets traded this season? I don't think so. I don't love having a $2.5 million fourth liner, but at the same time, come playoff time, and if he has to work his way up the lineup, you don't hate it, right?
Here's what we know about Kyle Dubas. He's a man of his word, right? So the Leafs traded Alexander Barabanov to the Sharks for Suomela, a trade that Dubas and the Leafs have decidedly lost badly.
Why?
But because Barabanov is an NHL player who's actually producing, I think he's got 19 points, and Suomela is currently on an AHL deal with the Marlies. I think he has 1 goal. But it's because he promised Barabanov when he signed him, if it doesn't work out here, I'll find you a place. Like, people, you might, there's 2 different ways you could look at it. Oh, they sign a guy and then it doesn't work out, and after a couple months they sewer him and they get rid of him. Or, well, I mean, Nick Ritchie still, the checks are going to come no matter what. When are they due? That's when they come for him. So if you're an agent, you're like, well, at least he's getting the money, and he'll find him a situation.
As of 8 minutes ago, the Leafs have placed forwards Pierre Engvall and Mitch Marner in the NHL's COVID protocol.
I was about to faint. I thought you were going to say Engvall on waivers, and then you said Marner, and I was like, what?
Forwards Joey Anderson and Brett Sini have been assigned to the taxi squad. So we'll see.
So Marner's going to miss tomorrow night, I guess.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, yeah, because it could be like a false positive or something.
Matthews has supposedly had 2, and Dean, is it Chenoweth, the assistant coach, did as well.
Chen Daddy, I believe. Chen Daddy.
Yeah. Or
no, it's not Chen Daddy. The game I was supposed to go to, the Pittsburgh game that my girlfriend got me for Christmas, they've officially refunded the money now. So,
that's fast.
Well, I thought, and we both thought, we're like, well, maybe we'll wait and see if it happens in that Olympic break time, right? Like, is it going to happen? And I think that's when it will be played, but they're expecting, I don't think that, like, there's just no way. Season ticket holders will come first in that, so there's just no way. So the money is back in the account. This is going to be, I don't think I've seen a Leafs game since before Everly was born in person.
I've seen one. Remember the Leafs won 14 out of 16? I saw one of the two. They lost 5-2 to the Kings.
Well,
Trevor
this
Moore
year,
scored.
right?
Yeah.
No, Trevor Moore scored.
Drew.
That's how long ago it was.
I made producer Drew over $100. He goes, Trevor Moore, first goal. Should I do it? I go, absolutely. He turned $5 into 130.
Incredible.
It was his first of the season.
Nice.
I also want to say this. The Leafs have won 20 of their past 25 games. This is the best 25 game stretch in franchise history.
What?
Pretty good.
Man, it sucks that all these things are happening in the midst of all this, because, like, how do you pay attention? Like, Jack Campbell is undeniably in the Vezina conversation, and like Willie's on like nearly a 40-goal pace, and nobody's talking about it. And
I know it's funny though. Like when you play, I just want to make sure my phone was on Do Not Disturb. When you play games so spread out, like one game in 17 days, people do other shit.
Yep.
Like we really like you do. People get into other stuff. It's nice that we have 2 games a week at least to reliably count on. Now with one of the 2 games we're going to get this week, and I think it's going to be 2 games a week going forward for the next probably month or so. Because again, every time they play a game, they lose $3 million.
Unless it's just a road trip. Because one thing
yeah.
they've done too is they've swapped a lot of games.
Yep.
So what was it? The Ottawa Islanders game, if I have it correct. They swapped those 2 games because if you can play the
Leafs
American
Islanders.
game with a full building, do that instead, and then so we could get a whole bunch of Leafs game.
Are we bringing up the Jets?
Eventually, but do you want to bring them up now?
I don't know.
I was going to go into the Oilers Leafs.
Let's go into that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was going to go to the Jets after.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
We'll get to it.
Okay, so Oilers Leafs on Wednesday. A little unfair because Connor McDavid's not on the lineup, but so fucking what? You still got to play NHL games.
Right.
We've missed Matthews and Marner before it happens.
Yeah.
Now, the Oilers picture continues to get worse here. I mean, I think they've lost 10 of their last 12. And what happens, it's everything that we talked about on Wednesday going into the game. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and I heard this with Chris Johnson and Julian McKenzie. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, when they are playing 2 more minutes a night than Matthews and Marner, right?
Yeah.
That's the Leafs' closest comparable. I'm not saying they're the same, but if you're talking about the Leafs' big 2, it's Matthews and Marner. Oilers' big 2 is obvious. And when the Oilers were winning, those guys were putting up like MVP for the last 25 years numbers. Like Connor McDavid was on pace for 180 points.
Yeah.
Their numbers would have, I think back to like 1996 Mario Lemieux.
And Yager.
And yeah, no, they were better.
And I
They had
wonder.
better numbers.
So here's the thing: when they were winning, those guys were putting up like 2-3 points a night each.
They were on a 180-point pace through the first like an alarming amount of games. We were all like, "Oh shit! Like they're actually gonna stick to this."
Right. And then
they didn't.
Well, then they didn't. But here's the thing: 82 games in a year. Even Gretzky didn't score sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he had his 215-point season, there were games he did not register a point in. The problem is with this Edmonton Oilers team is if their version of Gretzky, which is Connor McDavid, again, I'm not calling them the same, if he does not score and Leon Draisaitl does not score, they do not even factor. Like they don't play. The Oilers cannot win. And I think I highlighted it last episode. A guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, everybody's like, well, he's having a great year, 26, 27 points or whatever. 3 of those are goals. And I hate to remind hockey fans of this. Goals matter more than assists. Goals matter more. Goals matter more. That's why points in the NBA, goals in soccer, that's what people pay attention to because that's what matters. And what we're seeing with this Oilers team is what's Dave Tippett really supposed to do? I'm not saying he's perfect, but what's he supposed to do if Connor McDavid's out in COVID protocol? Or even if he's playing. What's he really supposed to do if he needs a goal? And those 2 are gassed.
That was a great point from the CJ show. I was just like, fair enough.
Yeah. Like what's he going to do?
What would I do to make the Oilers better?
Now, did he...
all my answers
trade
have to do with Ken Holland, not Dave Tippett.
That's what I'm saying. This is a Ken Holland thing. Now, what's going to be interesting is if in season they try to make a move here, how do you make a move right now? Like Louis DeBrusk said on Sportsnet this morning, it's like it's almost impossible to make a trade right now.
Well, it's not just that. No one was waiving their no trade clause to come to Canada anyway. They're especially not doing it now.
Yeah.
So
like everybody's looking at us like, you guys are not.
Well,
yeah,
and they might for Alberta, but
Yeah.
not for most of Canada. And one thing I learned from Agent Provocateur with Doug Armstrong, another extremely good listen. I love that we make shit that I like. Like, I listen to every show, I'm like, God damn, what a banger. Who made this? Us? Great. Anyway, from your Doug Armstrong thing, is the NHL isn't a video game. Like, these are people.
Yes.
Right? And I think it would be frowned upon if you traded a player who didn't specifically ask for it at the moment. Right now.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now tell me why.
Because you're sending them into an unwinnable situation. If it's a single guy, probably not as much. Single guy,
But if he's got a family.
If he's got a family,
like Fast and Furious.
It would look awful. It would look absolutely awful. Now, Doug Armstrong told a story that I thought was very funny, where he traded Joe Nieuwendyk the day after he moved into a new house.
Down the street from Doug Armstrong.
Down the street.
They were neighbors.
Yeah, so
literally.
That's funny. It's unfortunate, but it's funny. It was also the off season, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Lou Lamoriello. You kind of have to,
Yeah.
But to trade...
By the way, when he was saying that, I'm like, I bet that's the Langenbrunner trade. And he was like, and then it was Langenbrunner for Arnott. I was like, I remember that.
So, but if, a guy's got a wife and 2 kids and lives in, I don't know, pick a team at random, St. Louis, and then you're going to trade them to Edmonton in the middle of all this, how are they going to see their wife? How are they going to see their kids? If they come with you, you got to figure out X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a good look. If someone asks for it, great. If they don't, I think it's going to be a real bad look. But business is business.
You got to do it. I mean, and if you're Ken Holland, like people will be like, well, Ken Holland's on the hot seat. Is he? I don't think he is. He's in the, what is he, a
he
third
should
of
be, man.
Yeah, but.
No, I know.
Come on.
Yeah.
With Edmonton?
He's secure in that job.
Yeah. I mean, they signed him to a $25 million deal. I think he's in year 3 or 4.
Is Tippett the only coach he's had?
No, he had I think he had the previous guy, didn't he? Who's the previous guy?
I don't even remember. Gulletson?
No, Gullitson's the assistant coach.
Right. He was with Calgary. I can't remember. We'll figure that out.
I'll tell you in like 8 seconds.
Yeah, most GMs, I think you can bet on them comfortably having 2 coaches.
Ken Hitchcock was before Tippett, and then before that was Todd McClellan.
But when was Hitchcock? What year?
And Hitchcock was 18-19. He only did that one season. Remember, he did the 62 games.
Oh, right, but he wasn't fired though. He just left.
Yeah, his interim. Right, he was that stopgap between McClellan and
right. So that
Tippett
that doesn't even count as a bullet. That's a blank in the gun.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
and like with the way that the Oilers are run, truly from ownership's perspective, like it or hate it, they're not quick to jump the gun on firing a general manager, except the day after they've signed a goalie to a 3-year contract.
Right. Okay. So he's not on the hot seat to lose his job, but he's on the hot seat to do friggin' something. Something.
Yeah.
And what better time than now to completely contradict myself?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're able to find players who are willing to come there or you know what? Screw it. Be cold. Make your team better. The Oilers have 1 game in the next 14 days. What better time?
Right. And just to clarify, Tippett is Ken Holland's hire, because Ken Holland was hired in the May of 2019 early, and then late in the month he hired Tippett after Hitchcock wasn't coming back.
Oh, so he was hired before the bubble season.
Yes, 2019.
Wow.
Is when
So
he
this
hired.
would be
Man.
Tippett's first full season.
So this is the problem, eh? Like, I can't remember any of this stuff.
Oh, me neither.
Any of this.
No. If you ask me something from 2008, I'm good. But
Yeah.
3 years ago,
Yeah.
Right.
So that, I don't know. That's enough time to be. You got to be thinking about at least Tippett's job if you're Ken Holland, and I don't know if Bobby Nix is looking at Ken Holland's job, but
No.
Probably not.
Holland is safe
Yeah.
based on that criteria, but Tippett might not be.
Did you see the gif of the Oilers getting scored on, and then the camera goes right to Ken Holland, and it just says Ken Holland searching the 0809 Detroit Red Wings roster,
I didn't see that.
searching for players to trade for.
That's
funny.
mean. How dare
I was
you?
going to say funny.
No, it's definitely. Oh, listen. A lot of funny things are mean, and a lot of mean things are funny.
Exactly.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out BetterHelp.com/SDP. The best way to think about therapy, basically, is I would say working out, but for your brain. And for your body to function, your brain's got to be in shape. That's why I go to therapy, and that's why you should check out BetterHelp, because here's the thing. You can do the in-person thing. You can do it over the phone. You can even do it over chat. It's completely up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. You invest in stocks. You invest in your body. Why are you not investing in your mind as well? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and if you go to betterhelp.com/SDP, you'll get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp. So betterhelp.com/SDP to get 10% off your first month, and good mental health to you. Hey, cheers to 2022. May hairy balls be forgot and never brought to mind with Manscaped. Did that work? No, it didn't work. All right. Well, did you see the ball drop? That's Steve's. Did you like that better?
I thought it was. That's why I
Okay,
came up with it.
listen, all I'm saying is with our exclusive offer, you go to manscaped.com, use the promo code DANGLE. Get it? Because it's for your balls, and you get 20% off and free shipping. I already told you about the Performance Package 4.0, where you're going to find that signature lawnmower 4.0, the electric trimmer designed to trim hair on loose skin. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate areas. It also comes equipped with a 4,000K LED light. That's a lot of TVs. And that will make sure that you reach the promised land and not other things. And you don't want to cut the wrong things down there. You know what I'm saying? So here's the deal. For the new year, let's keep those balls shiny and clean with Manscaped. Be sure to travel to manscaped.com for our exclusive offer. 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE. And cheers to your balls in 2022. One thing that I hadn't thought about, but makes complete sense when you do think about it, is something actually my co-host on my other podcast tweeted last night. And I actually was texting back and forth with him. I tried to get him on the show today. Alan, but he couldn't come on. But he's going to come on next week to talk about this a little bit more in depth. But I thought this was a really interesting story. So what do we know about players and their equipment?
They are ridiculous about it.
Explain. Do you know some stories? Like how? Give me some context. For
They're
that.
really specific.
Like
right?
when you talk to Mark Savard about it.
I got a story.
Oh, you got a story.
Daniel Alfredson, he almost retired early because he couldn't get the right pair of skates.
Oh, yeah.
Felix Potvin did retire early because he couldn't wear the same equipment because they made equipment changes. And he goes, screw it, I'll retire.
And then Daniel Alfredson went through, I think, 32 different pairs of skates over the course of a season. And I forget who on the Senators lent him a pair of skates. And that was the one that worked. And that kept his career going for another, I forget how many years, 4 years or something.
And
like that.
Wow.
And wasn't there somebody with a stick that Bauer stopped making?
Mike Green.
Yeah,
Mike
and then he
Green.
asked all the fans in Washington for the sticks,
Yes!
and they brought them to the arena, and he got his stick.
And he used them in NHL games
Yeah.
and put up NHL points with them.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
'Cause
was
that's
a
a stick.
Russian Machine Never Breaks initiative.
Something that I hadn't thought about that I think is and this is something Alan tweeted last night, is he said the skates shortage among major equipment suppliers is having an impact on NHL players. Factories in China are backed up for months, and we know the supply chain issues across the world for everything. Forget the custom skates on back order. Some players are scouring retail stores' websites for new skates just in their size and width. They can't even find a boot size that fits.
So So you know what? That story is worth talking about a little bit more because we could see more of it with Mike Green. So I don't remember the make of the stick. I think it was Easton. But he scored 31 goals with this stick. It's really specific. They stopped manufacturing it. So Russian Machine Never Breaks basically writes a blog about it, and people who were gifted like autographed sticks by Mike Green are like, here, you can have it back. Because they're Capitals fans. They want to see the Capitals succeed. So use them in NHL games, put up NHL points. To me,
And they're
that's-
autographed sticks.
Yeah, autograph sticks.
So cool.
Hilarious story. Great story. you can get player gloves, skates even. You can get any piece of equipment. I know a guy who just bought Mikhail Grabovski's skates. And
yeah, Real Sports has a whole section of just stuff that's been on the ice at Scotiabank. You can walk there and just buy it.
And I remember he paid it was like $600, $700, $800 for them or something like that.
Well, they would be good skates.
Well, yeah, I go, why did you pay that just for game used skates? Because I thought they jacked the value because they belong to Mikhail Grabovski. He's like, no, that's how much these skates cost.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're just good skates.
Yeah, so there might be a situation where players start, maybe sending out a tweet and going, listen, if you've ever bought my game used skates, I'll buy them back off you. I need them back.
Mm-hmm.
I need to spend $1,000 on my skates right now. It could happen. I'm throwing it out there into the universe because a lot of players probably haven't even considered that ridiculous option, but it's not so ridiculous. It's literally happened before.
It would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Of course it would be.
I would love that.
Imagine, because this is, possibly going to get worse heading into the stretch, heading into the playoffs. And imagine then this player is skating in an NHL game, in a playoff game, Stanley Cup playoff game, and they create some magical playoff memory with skates they had to buy back off a fan. It could happen, man. Just throwing it out there. Tell Alan if Jonathan Huberdeau needs skates and you can't find them,
By the way, Alan asked at the end of the podcast, he said Doug was he asked about Marc-Andre Fleury and Jonathan Huberdeau being on the Olympic team. And Doug was like, he's like, I don't want to make any enemies right now, so I just say, yes, your client was on the team.
Yeah, was
so of course Huberdeau was. Of course.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. And by the way, thanks to all the Blues fans who messaged me and said, hey, Doug Armstrong says like 2 words in press conferences, so thanks for getting him to open up. That was all Alan. Had nothing to do with me, but I'm so glad that I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was actually that's our first NHL general manager on this network.
Oh, yeah, ever.
And he was great. And I know Doug Armstrong is famous for saying like 2 words. He is. He doesn't talk. And so to have him talk about, driving around Bobby Clark's Porsche and trading Joe Nieuwendyk, even though they were neighbors, and, winning that first Stanley Cup. And when do you pull, because I asked him, I said, it wasn't going well that year. You guys were in last place. Mm-hmm. How close do you get to pulling the plug? And he answered the question. Mm-hmm. And
I was surprised by that.
I was freaked out because I'm like, this interview is going really well, and this question could completely fuck it up.
Well, you didn't. Good for you.
Thank God.
Good for you.
Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets could be looking at playing in Saskatchewan at the SaskTel Center, which interestingly seats 15,000, which I'm pretty sure is as much or more than what Winnipeg usually gets in their barn, right? Because their stadium's pretty small.
If it's less, it's not much less.
Now,
I've been there.
Saskatoon has
love it.
Saskatoon, by the way, rules, especially in the summertime. But Saskatoon has no restrictions right now, and it's a 90-minute flight from Winnipeg if you wanted to go. But people in Saskatchewan are going to buy those tickets up real quick.
Oh my God!
I don't know if you've ever seen. If you're an American and you're watching this, look up Rough Riders. Look up the Saskatchewan Rough Riders a little bit.
I've told this story before, but let me contextualize. We went to a movie theater when we were at the World Juniors. There were 3 theaters to see Avatar because that was coming out. They were all full, and the movie The Tooth Fairy with The Rock was sold out. So the way I talk about Saskatoon is there's nothing to do, and everyone's at the nothing. If you don't have to look too hard. Hockey Canada love them. And I'm surprised the World Juniors isn't back there every year because the relegation games between Slovakia and Latvia still had half capacity. People were just
people were
there's
loud
a game
too.
on.
They were loud.
Oh, they were it's to me, Jordan Eberle tying the game against the States in the gold medal game was, I still think, to me, louder than Crosby scoring the gold medal goal.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was at both games. It was louder than that. Everyone freaked out. The only thing that comes close to either of those, my podium, 1, 2, 3, the loudest goals I've ever heard in person, is Crosby, Eberle tying it, and Bonino's game winner in Pittsburgh.
Is that the Bonino?
Bonino is oh my God. I thought I was gonna die.
Can we do arena capacity trivia?
Okay,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Just to
This is
confirm
fun.
what you're saying, Adam, the capacity for ice hockey in Winnipeg is 321, and then in Saskatchewan it's 15100. So barely edges out in Winnipeg. But who has the capacity record for the SaskTel Center? It is a vintage rock band.
Oh,
And they
would they
set the
be
record.
the Canadian rock band?
Not Canadian.
They're not Canadian.
Not
I would have
Canadian.
thought it was the what are they called? The
What?
Nickelback?
no. There's like a band from Saskatchewan that made it to the cover of Rolling Stone. And why am I not?
No.
You know, Saskatchewan actually uses them in their Move to Saskatchewan commercials.
I don't know.
The
man.
Sheepdogs.
No.
I would have thought it was the Sheepdogs.
Are they Saskia? I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It was.
Well, their number one hit.
it's
Tim
not-
and Friends,
would-
time for Tim and
would
Yeah,
it be-
That's what I know. Sheepdogs.
Time for Tim and Friends. I'm assuming, yeah, they're from Saskatoon. I'm assuming then it would have to be, like it's an old rock band.
Yeah, what old rock band owns the capacity record for the SaskTel Center?
Tragically Hip.
That's Adam's guess.
It's Canadian.
It's not.
I
oh,
said
it's
it's not Canadian.
It's not Canadian. Shit.
You get a mulligan on that.
Yeah, you get it.
I am going to say, because Jesse asked Adam specifically, I'm going to say Van Halen.
Is it Van Halen?
It's Metallica.
Oh, yeah, Metallica's a big deal.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty cool record.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm sure that's not the only place they own the record for.
Right.
Have you ever seen their like Soviet Union concert?
Oh, yeah. No,
Where-
the world showed up at their show.
Yeah, where there's like 500,000 people and it's
Oh.
Enter Sandman to open the show.
Yeah, there's only two things.
I'm surprised people didn't die. Like,
Yeah,
like,
They
it's-
probably
there's
did.
a lot of Russian soldiers there and they're rocking out too, and it's bananas.
Oh,
I've never
wow.
seen anything like it.
There's
anything.
it's them, and there's a DMX one as well, where he's just
Where he's
performing
in
to
Russia?
the world.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I don't know
he-
if it was in Russia, but I'm just like, where is
I
this?
don't know where it is, but it's some outdoor festival, and it's DMX in front of like 1 million people.
Like legitimately 1 million.
Yeah.
It's like it was like the Raptors NBA parade, but all in one place,
Jesse,
watching DMX.
Do you want me to email this to you or send you we won't play the sound, but just so you can get a sense of the crowd, we can just
If
show
anyone is going to
a screen
sue,
freeze.
it's Metallica.
Email or
Just send it.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't
Okay.
matter.
You've never heard of Napster,
it's going
man?
to your sdpn.ca thing. No, I don't think that didn't do Metallica any favors with their fans, the Napster thing, and we're promoting them for God's sakes. We're trying to. And by the way, the person that's hosting this video is not a Metallica official thing, so they didn't sue that person. It's okay. Anyway, I also want to throw this out there. This hasn't been confirmed yet. The Jets sent out a season, like a survey to season seat holders. Elliot Friedman reporting this, asking their opinion on the possibility. It's not known how the survey results came in. The Jets thought that they would be able to host fans. But I guess, it's just in Manitoba, just like Quebec, just like Ontario, just like so many other places, it's just not a good idea right now. It's like I keep saying, we're going to have to learn to live with COVID, just like our great-grandparents had to learn to live with the flu. It's not going anywhere. But right now it's so volatile and dangerous, we just don't know where this is all going. So I love the idea of the Jets in Saskatchewan. First off, I think it's a great feel-good story. Second, Saskatchewan so often gets overlooked, and their fans are, as you mentioned, absolutely rabid.
Ravenous.
And number three, and I guess that's partially number one, we need a positive story in Canada. All we have had, and you mentioned this, nobody's waiving their no-trade clause to come to Canada. They rarely were they anyway, but especially now because of the restrictions. In America, you can pretty much do anything you want. In Canada, you can't do fucking anything.
Well, how about...
And so it would be nice if we could have something positive about Canada and this game of hockey that we call ours, and all the passion that we're supposed to have, and we could reward Saskatchewan, the province in the middle that just kind of keeps getting forgotten.
And, how unique would it be to play in the first ever NHL game in Saskatchewan?
That would be...
That counted.
No one would
Imagine
ever take that away from you.
There's a Saskatchewan-born player.
Oh, I bet there is.
Like imagine Jordan Eberle. I think he's a Regina guy, but like imagine the Shens, I think, are Saskatoon. Now there are going to be some people who talk about the money over everything thing, and the reason there are no fans in the stands in certain places is, because of safety and everything. To them, I would say, listen, these games are getting played.
They're
getting played.
And
so,
just to correct you before everybody in Saskatchewan starts yelling at you, the 2019 Heritage Classic was played in Regina. You remember it was the Jets? It was the Jets and Flames.
Okay,
I don't even know if that was the first game ever.
First ever indoor that counted.
I think
know they
if
had
that
some
was,
exhibition
yeah,
games,
but yeah.
who cares?
Nobody on the Jets roster is even from Saskatchewan, from what I can see.
I'm just trying to think of all of them. Anyway, doesn't matter. These games are getting played.
Of course. And if you're looking for a safe place to play hockey right now, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Like there's no pandemic-free area on the earth.
Yeah. If you're going to be mad about this, you should be mad about every NHL game getting played everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting played. And if this works for the Jets, I wouldn't be overly shocked if the NHL goes, all right, could this work for the Leafs? Could this work for the Sens? Could this work for the Habs? The Jets might be protective of that and say, listen, this is our show.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, going to dilute our product for these guys. They can go solve their own problems, make their own money. That is possible. But as ideas go,
it's not the worst one.
this seems like a good one.
I really like this. Jesse, do you have the Metallica video that you just want to, can we just show the crowd?
Yeah, it's already been on screen.
Oh, has it?
Yeah,
Okay,
when you
good. I
sent
just
it
want to
over.
make sure.
The an article from themusicman.uk. I don't know if this is accurate, but they say 1.6 million people were at that Moscow performance in 1991.
I can imagine because
I believe it.
They didn't know. So I've read a few books on music in the 80s. I love 80s music. And one of the books I read was completely on hair metal. And they talk about the Moscow Peace Festival, which I think happened in 1987. And it was put on as like an anti-drug crusade because one of the biggest managers in rock, Don Meehan, was caught smuggling drugs, quite literally. And so he had to put on a concert, and it was like, but he put it on in Russia, and they didn't know how to do it, right? Like they didn't know. So 1.6 million people showing up doesn't surprise me because they wouldn't know at that point. They didn't have big music festivals in the Soviet Union like this. And so they wouldn't have known how to properly control a crowd like that.
So 1.6 million is bigger than all but 3 Canadian cities.
Yeah. Yeah. Rod Stewart talked about in his book, he played a show on New Year's Eve in Brazil, and I think there were 2 million people there, and the crowd stretched back several kilometers.
Oh, yeah. No, like Toronto's a decently big city by North American standards, but outside of that, Canada's got nobody.
I know. Like, I think Mexico City's got almost the same population.
Oh, yeah.
As Canada.
Most other places in the world, we can't fathom how many damn people there are.
It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
Holy shit.
I wanted to, before we get into the press conference here, I wanted to talk quickly, and Jesse, I just sent you a note on this if you want to bring it up. The Trent Frederick hit on Kirill Kaprizov. And I wanted to get your opinion on this, guys, because this is one of those ones where you get two different sides completely. You get people who are like, that's fucking bullshit. Trent Frederick shouldn't even be on the ice anyway. He's not an NHL player, and that's a bullshit hit. And then you get the Mark Messier opinion last night where people were so mad at Mark Messier because he said, that doesn't look intentional to me. To me, part of this is name brand. We know what kind of player Trent Frederick is, right?
It's a torpedo.
Yes. I wanted to get both of your thoughts on the hit.
Well, I think I can be unbiased party because I am both a big Trent Frederick fan and a Kirill Kaprizov fantasy holder. So you can imagine how absolutely concerned I am about that. I think this is a suspension. I don't think it's a long one because I agree. To me, this isn't ill intent, but it is negligence.
Okay, that is interesting.
Because he sees numbers the whole time. Like he doesn't drill him in the numbers, but to me, he's hitting a player who's not really eligible to be hit in a way that's still dangerous. Kaprizov is falling, which isn't Frederick's fault. But there's negligence there. This is a dangerous hit.
Now, when you watch it in slow-mo, it looks terrible. But I encourage you to watch it at normal speed.
Yeah. Unfortunate stuff happens in hockey all the time.
But when you watch it at normal speed, to me, it takes a lot of the wind out of he's out there to kill him.
No, I mean, in fairness, Trent Frederick's out there to kill everybody. But
yeah.
To me, I just don't see. Yeah, and the way Kaprizov falls forward, I to send a message, you maybe give him a game or two. I think that's all he gets.
I think negligence is the best way I've heard it put.
Yeah. Was he penalized? Did he get 5 in a game? I know he fought. If he got 5 in a game, he might not get suspended at all. If it wasn't a penalty, I just don't see it happening. It's not a good hit. Like, I'll say it should be a penalty or something, but I just... Like, Matt Cook would skate full length of the ice and drill dudes right in the back.
If this was Matt Cook throwing that hit, he would have put his knee into the back of Kaprizov's neck.
Yeah, and to me, it is negligent.
Here's what Dean Evison had to say. Dean Evison being the coach of the Minnesota Wild. Really frustrated with how Krill got hurt. I mean, it's a predatorial hit. One that the league, I mean, we don't want that, right? The puck is sitting right there. You know what he's doing. He's going to hurt our best player. There's no question that there is no intention. That is not a hockey play. So I think he misspoke there. The puck's sitting right there. All he has to do is take the puck and go. And in a vulnerable position, you hit a player from behind. We'll see it. We see it all the time, and it gets taken care of. I hope this gets taken care of here.
He talks about the puck to try to create an intention to me because he's right. The puck is right there, and he could have just poked at it, and his teammate would have got it in the corner and probably rang it around. But he also doesn't have to do that. Like, Kaprizov has... So let me take back something I said earlier, that he was ineligible to be hit. He has the puck, and he's eligible to be hit. And then he sort of falls forward. The problem I have, and this is where Frederick loses me, is he's going in for a solid legal check. And as Kaprizov falls, Frederick follows him. Now it's one of those things happening in a fast game, and it's instinctual, and I still think you gotta ding guys for that, because it's completely against an NHL player's nature, and definitely Trent Frederick's nature, to bail on a hit. But to me, that's a situation where you gotta bail on a hit.
Did he have time?
He had time.
I'm not totally.
Can you press play for a sec, just so I can see it one more time?
Okay.
I have to see it a few more times, I think, but I didn't get the sense that this was the torpedo Trent Frederick that we're used to.
You'd have to ask him. You'd have to.
Well, he's not going to answer you, honestly.
No, I know. In my opinion, he goes in with his arm, right? Like his arm, his shoulder, his elbow, whatever you want to call it, and he drills him. If he throws his hands up, if he puts them down, I don't know. I've never been in Trent Frederick's situation. This is, I'm usually on the side of we need to protect players. We got to suspend guys. That's a tough one, man. It looks awful.
Bruce Cassidy. I don't think there was any malicious intent.
Yeah, but that's a pull string quote from Bruce Cassidy. He said that about every Bruins hit ever.
So anyway,
it's so tough because at this moment, I don't know, Adam, if you can see what I'm looking at here. But at this moment, it's
how much
kinda,
do NHL rights cost? Can we buy these?
It's kind of where he decides.
I wish we could buy digital rights. I hope they make those available.
At this moment is where he kind of decides to make the hit.
Yeah.
And Kaprizov is going to turn back up ice is what he's going to do. But he falls on his turn, and Trent Frederick continues to hit him. And this little space of when a player is not against the boards, but directly next to it, is a dangerous play.
Boarding.
Because that's when the player's head and neck goes into the boards. And so when it's there, is it on Trent Frederick to not make that play? A little bit, yes, but because that's illegal. So he comes here, Kaprizov's never against the boards, he's turning to turn up ice, and that's when he falls. And Trent Frederick continues to go towards him.
But, okay, first off, in the entire thing that you've just shown there, Jesse, at no point does Trent Frederick take any stride. He's gliding.
He glides through the puck as well, which that's not a hockey play. So who said that? Cassidy?
Yeah. So Dean Evison called it predatorial. Cassidy said, I don't think there was malicious intent.
Evison, who said it's not a hockey play. So right here, the puck is between his legs. So at no point was he going to play the puck. The puck is right there.
But it's Trent Frederick.
Next to his skate. Like,
of course he's not going to play the puck.
Yeah.
If I'm at Department of Player Safety, I definitely suspend him, but not a lot because it's accidental, because Kaprizov's falling on his own entirely. He's not being touched, and here he's going towards the boards himself, but the puck is through his legs.
Right.
You're not playing the game of hockey. You're playing check people.
2 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a game or two. Fair enough.
It's so tough.
If you're a Wild fan, I get why that would piss you
Oh,
off.
fuck me. It would be so... I was so mad if that was Matthews.
Listen, it's bad for hockey that Kaprizov's it.
Yes.
It's bad.
Yes.
But I mean, Frederick's got a job to do, and intent is so important, and to me, it's just negligence.
Let's do the press conference. These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business, and that's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn and reach your network and beyond, the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Now, last